gentlemen, are you ready?
So we have covered DQL basics until now. Any questions in that? Everyone was able to download and install MySQL. Everyone has it running, right? No one is left, right? Everyone has brought laptop also today, right? Okay. So we'll be doing some initial stuff and we will be learning more about your DDL. Okay. DDL stands for Data Definition Language, right? That means you're defining your data. That means you're defining how your data will look like. You don't have any data in it. That means you will have a table, only the columns will be available. There won't be any rows. You're just defining the structure of your data. Okay. And that is your DDL. The first thing in your DDL you have is your create. That means you can create something. The difference between your DQL and your DDL is DQL is not any permanent change in your table. You are just querying the table, select star from something. It is not changing the main table, right? So if I open program S, we did all lots of stuff, group by, having, where, order by, all these things, right? But these tables are still as it is. We did not change any of these tables. Only the output were changing, right? But in your DDL part, whatever you will do is a permanent change. If you're creating something, it will be created. New thing will be created. If you're dropping something, that means it will be removed. If I say drop, and then this table will no longer be there. Okay, I cannot do it on the online. But this DDL is, let's create it now, right? Let's see what we can create first. First of all, DDL is data definition language. We already have one system database, SYS. In that, we have one table also, SYS config. We have seen how it works also. If I run it, okay, so if I run it, it is not working because it's saying no database selected. What should I do? I have to run use this first. That means I have to select that. As soon as I run this SYS will become bold in color also. Right? It is bold now. And then I can run select star from sysconfig. And now I have my table also. Right? But I don't want to use this one because this is our system database. I don't want to change anything in here. I would like to create my own database. Right? So for that, you have to use create keyword. Create. Now you can create multiple things. You can create your tables, you can create your database, you can create views, stored procedures, functions, triggers. There are so many other things also which you can create. Here we want to create your database, right? So create database, right? Now you can create multiple databases, right? So every database has its own unique name. So database A, database B, database C, whatever you want to keep. I am just keeping the database name as sample_db. You can keep anything, A, B, C, X, Y, Z, whatever. But the thing is, you have to write create database and database name. These first two are the exact things which you have to write. Sample_db, you can write anything else also. Okay. And I will run this part now. I'll hover over it. I'll highlight this and I'll run this. Do not run it without highlighting. Otherwise, every time it will run from the very top to bottom, each and every line. Okay. So I'll run this, only this part, only once. If I run it once, I don't see anything happen. I don't see any of the database also. It's just that I think it's a glitch in your MySQL. You have to refresh whenever you create something. So how would you refresh? This is the button to refresh it. In here, you have this button in here. If you click on this once, you have a sample DB also coming up now. Okay. You guys created sample DB? Okay. So this is one of the way. If I run it once more, what is going to happen? It will run into an error. And what is the error? Let's see. If I run it once, the error is can't create database sample DB. Database exists. So if something is already there, you cannot create it once more. You can create one more sample DB2. That is fine. Sample DB3, sample DB4. Likewise, you can keep on creating. But if the sample DB is already created, then you cannot create it once more. Okay. It will not overwrite it. Okay, so you have sample DB. The structure is also set. Tables, views, stored procedure functions are already here. Okay. If you want to remove anything, so that was your create. We'll see how to use create once more, but let's focus on drop now. If you want to remove anything permanently, you will use your drop keyword. So it's again the same way. How would you drop? You will write drop. If you can create multiple things, you can drop also multiple things, and you should be specific what is the thing which you're dropping. So drop which, drop what? Drop database. And which database? Sample DB, let's say. Right? And now if I run this, that database has been dropped or it is deleted. Right? Drop is a like word for delete only, but there is a delete separate word also. There is one delete also. So there is something different between delete and drop. Right? So drop means to remove it from your SQL. Any questions until now? And now you can keep on running these lines again and again because first one is creating, the second one is dropping. Again, the first one will create, again, the second one will drop. Okay, now let's do this exercise, right? If I run everything from top to bottom, right? What are the colors which I will see up in here? How many will be like executed correctly? How many one will have errors? All those types of things, right? If I run this once, what will happen? All the ones will run fine. Let's see. The first one, use sys, it will run fine because you're just saying use the system database. Then select star from sysconfig, this will also run fine. Again, one more green tick. Create database, again that will run fine because the database is not available. Again, drop database, it will also still run fine, right? If I just run it once without highlighting anything, there are 4 things which are running. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So let's run this. We'll have 4 tick marks up in here. Okay. Yep. Okay. Let's say if I do this thing, if I create database separately, refresh it. So sample DB is available now. Okay. Now if I do this part in here, if I run the whole thing, let's clear it. If I run the whole thing, how many statements do you think it will run? It will run 3 statements. The first one will run fine. The second one will run fine. So 2 green colors. The third run will be an error. It will be a red color. As soon as a red color comes up, as soon as an error comes up, it will not run the next line. It will stop there only. Okay. Let's see this. If I run this, only 3 things are there. 2 greens. Third one resulted into an error saying database was already available. Okay. So what we can do with this, because I might run it again and I want to run it again. You can do one modification in this create statement, which is create database if not exist. What does this mean? Create the database only if that does not exist. If the database exists, skip that line. Okay. It will still try to run this, but it will end up with a warning, not an error. Right. So let's say the database is already there. And if I run it now, it will give a warning, yellow color. Right. But it will not stop the code there. It will run the next line also if the next line is also highlighted. If I run it now, how many codes will be executed? Out of these four, all the four ones will be executed. How many ones will be green color? The first one will be green. The second one will be green. Third one will be yellow, right? Because I'm just saying create database if not exist. It is already there. It will run into a warning. The fourth one, green, right? So two greens, yellow, and one more green. It will not stop. After getting yellow, it will not stop. It will keep on running, right? I'll run it. Two green, one yellow, and one green again, right? Just wanted to show you that what is the difference between warning and an error. Okay. Create database, drop database. I just want to create it once. I don't want to drop it again and again. So I'll create it once, refresh it, sample DB is available, and I will comment the drop part because I don't want to drop it again and again, right? You can, so it's not like you can run this one and then you can run this one also. It's no problem in there, right? This whole white area is given for you to code. The order of coding does not matter. You can write anything before. It is the order of running. Once you start running it, which part you are running, only that part will run. So I have created database. Now I want to create my table also, right? Because in my sample DB, I only have tables, views, stored procedure functions, but there is nothing inside table folder. I only have folders there. But if I create my table now, it will be created under sys database because that is selected. I want to select my sample DB. What should I do? I should be using use sample DB. If I say use sample DB and if I run this part, sample DB will be highlighted, right? So one way was to highlight this part. The second way is to click on this second button also in here. What is the second button? Second button is saying if I select any piece of code, I don't want to highlight this. If I select any piece of code, I can click on this particular button in here. So let's say use sys. And if I select this one, only this piece of code will be running until your semicolon. If I run this, use sys as ran. If I click on this and then if I click on the second line, only this select part is running. Okay. The shortcut for this is because many times you don't want to run multiple pieces of code together. You only want to run step by step. If you only want to run this piece code, right? What I will do, I will write control enter. That is my shortcut. Control enter. And that is your warning in here because database was already available. So only this line has run. If I clear it, if I select this and control enter, only this line has run. Use sys, only one line has run. Select star from sysconfig, only one line has come. Okay. That is how you will quickly run it because your code might be very big also with time. It might be 50, 60 lines of code. So it's very hard to like highlight only the 50, 60 lines, right? Okay, so I'll use sample DB so that my sample DB is selected. So I'm hoping everyone has created sample DB. That is only the thing which is required. Only this line we have learned it today until now. Let's try creating our table. So make sure that you have ran use sample DB also. Let's create table. Yep. SQL, right? SQL, right? Yep. Online batch. You can attend online, offline, anything you want. Oh, so we'll meet at the end of the class, right? You can attend the class and we'll meet at 12 o'clock. We'll see. Okay, now to create table, right? So create is not done, create table. And we'll focus on create in the future classes also. But for now, we are creating database and creating table only. Only two things. Because for now, you don't know what is view, stored procedure function, right? Create table. Like this, create database. I'm saying create table. And create table. Table name is also required. What is the table name? So I am just writing sample table. Nothing complicated. Create table, sample table. But that is not the end because table has something which is known as columns, right? So you should specify what columns also are there in that particular table. Okay. How should you do this? We'll write bracket open, bracket closed, and then semicolon. Inside those brackets, you will have to write your column names. Right? So let's say my sample table, the first column which you have is your ID column, right? ID. And that is done, but only one last thing which is remaining, which for every column, you will have to write two things. One is the column name. So ID is the column name which I've written. The second thing is what is the data type. Now, what is data type? Data type are basically, there are three types of data types. One is either the column is text, either the column is number, either the column is a date, right? There can be multiple other also inside them, but generally there are three types. One is text, one is number, one is your date, right? If I ask you what is the data type of your birth date column, it will be a date, right? If I ask you what is employee ID, let's say employee ID only has numbers, right? So employee ID will be a numbers or integers data type. If I ask you the name column will be your text. What will be the data type of, let's say, your phone number? So many of you guys will say integer, or let's say Aadhaar number. Many of you guys will again say integer, right? The thing is, integer, you should keep it only for those columns which you think you will be doing some calculations, mathematical calculations, right? You're not taking phone number and multiplying it by 2 or divided by 2, something like this. You are not doing, right? Aadhaar number also you're not changing by doing multiplication or those things. So keeping them as text makes more sense than keeping them as a number. Okay. Okay. So ID, employee ID, for example, generally it is considered as a number, right? You can keep it as a text also, but number. So if it is an integer, the short form of integer is int. Now there you see there are int1, int2, int4, int8, integer also you can write. There are multiple ways in which you can write integer. You can also write numeric. You can also write number. Number is not there, sorry. You can also write double. Double is a decimal place number, decimal numbers. ID is not a decimal number. Float is also there. Float is also different types of decimal numbers, right? Either 4 decimal numbers, 8 decimal numbers, something like this, right? ID is not a decimal number, so I will just write integer. It is an integer, right? But we know that this is a number, right? And that's it. If I run this, it will create a table. Table name will be sample table. That will has one column, which is named as ID, and the data type will be integer. Okay, let's run this, highlight this, run this. Because we have created something new, again, we have to refresh. If I refresh it, we have tables, and inside that you have sample table also. Okay, how will I see my table? What do you think I should do? I also say select star from sample table. Correct. Right? Because my sample DB is selected, inside that only sample table is there. I can run this part, select star from sample table. Run it, and you have only one column, which is ID. There is no row, there is no other column. It does not look like a table, but it is also a table yet. It is a table right now. Okay, any questions? And by the way, so again, if you are not understanding much in your DDL, it's fine because DDL is not the part where your interviews will lie, right? Slight things will be slightly different in your MS SQL if you want to run this. Okay, so don't no need to buy hard. Just understand that there is a keyword which is a create, which will help you create multiple things: database, views, tables, all these things, right? There is a keyword which is drop, which will help you remove something. There is no need to buy hard these things in here. Okay, it is not going to be asked in your interviews. The reason why, let's say you join a company, right? This drop keyword is not given to you. You cannot just say drop because otherwise a fresher will go and then it will say drop and then drop database. The whole database will be removed. The company will go in loss, right? So that is not going to happen. So even after 7 years, also I don't have this access. Very few people will have DDL or DML access out there. DQL access, you will have it because there's nothing you can do it with your DQL, which will hamper the company, right? Only outputs you can get. Only admins will have these access, and that's why because you're not using it inside the company, these are not going to ask in your interview also. But it's always good to know something in theory also, so that's why we are learning this. Let's say now you want to create multiple columns, right? Only ID is not fine. What will happen if I run this part again? Because the table is already there, it will run into an error, right? So whenever error comes, do not get overwhelmed, right? Do not get scared, right? Always see what the error is saying here. It says sample table already exists, right? It's not an error. I mean, it already exists, right? So I cannot create it again. If you want to create it again, we'll have to drop it first. You have to remove it. So drop table this time and not table name, which is sample table. If you want to remove table, you are using drop table sample table. Run it and the table was removed from the database. Okay. You can create it again and drop it again, whatever you can do it. Keep on doing that. If you want to get rid of that error, that if I create it again, the error should not come. Again, you can write the same thing. If not exists. Okay, this time it will be a warning. Fine, but again, I want to create multiple columns. I know even if I say if not exists, this will still not create the table, right? It will just give me a warning and it will skip that part. I will have to drop the table first. And let's say now I create a new column. How will I create a new column? The ID is already there. I'll write comma and then I'll repeat the same step. Let's say the next column is my name column. I'll write name or whatever sample name, EMP name. Let's say EMP name is my employee name, right? I'm not writing name because name is a taken keyword. You can still write it. It will create a column with the name, but it is just blue in color. So some people might get afraid, right? Scared. It's fine. EMP name. Name column will be a text, right? Now, likewise, in your integer, there were multiple types of integers. Text also have multiple types, but you can just write text in order to get it working. Text is just will take everything. Otherwise, there is something which is varchar is there, variable character. You have n varchar also, right? You have string also. So multiple things, but what I will suggest, you will just write text for now. Okay. And now if you run it, it will create two columns for you in your sample table. Run it, refresh, your sample table is available. Again, I'm not dropping it. I'll just highlight this, comment it out, and I'll say select star from sample table. ID and EMP name. There are two columns now. We are slowly building the table. Right? Any questions in here? So everyone just try to create a table with the two columns in here. And let's see if you guys are able to do it. Errors are fine. So do not get afraid of errors. Let's see everyone creates this table with ID and EMP name. Comma. It says unknown database. First of all, you should be in the schemas part. You have not created any database. Oh, database is available, right? Sample DB. So you have to write use sample DB first. So sample data is the one which you have created. You have created sample data. You have to use sample data in there. Okay. Now this is highlighted. Now you can create your table like this. Right. And now you can say select start from sample table. ID and EMP name. Both are there. See, many of you guys are not writing, right? So the thing is, SQL is all about writing codes. No one is going to ask you what is create, right? What is DQL? All these things are not going to ask. They'll give you a question, you will have to write it. So you be comfortable writing now, because at that time you will forget what to write. Yeah, what is the thing which you're trying to run? Did you create database? Sample DB is available, right? Yes. Now you have to use sample DB. So you have to write use sample DB. The casing does not matter. So sample DB. And that. Yeah. Every statement should be ended with a semicolon. Okay. Just run one by one, right? Let's use sample DB run once. Okay, that is done. This is highlighted also. Now you have to create your table. Okay. No, now semicolon is not there. So that control enter will not work. Right? You put a semicolon at the end and now put control enter. Now this table has been created. If you refresh this, you will see a tables also expanded. Right? EMP underscore TB is there. Sample SCML. Okay. Sample table is there. There is no need to drop it. So you can comment it out. Huh? Why did we use it for the first place? I'm just saying, if you want to remove the table, you can use drop table. And now if you say select this, run it also. Control enter or highlighting, both will work. and then you have ID and EMP. Okay, you guys done? Sorry, it's showing right ID. Sorry. What is happening? What is not showing? What about you? Just now started. Yeah, SQL is not theory class. Yeah. What about you guys? Done? Okay, good. What about you? So you see, if you guys have done it, help others also, right? It's one thing to do it yourself. It's one thing to teach others also to do it. If you are facing problem, let me know. But if you have done it, help others also. Right? ID NPN correct, right? Right, it's correct, right? ID NPN. Okay, you have not imported the table. Okay, where are we? Okay, this is fine. Integer, you cannot write in bracket all these things. Right. It says sample table does not exist. Refresh it. Yeah, it is not there, right? So run it now. Now it says sample table. Right. So it's done. Done. See, if I just sit here and teach, half of the class is not even doing. It's so you see, in your college, it's fine that your instructors are coming there and you're not doing it. It's fine, right? Here, I mean, you are all grown up now. I mean, I don't actually care if you are none of you are doing, right? I will be getting paid. I'll just go home and then I'll sleep, right? I'm anyways not doing it for money. The salary which I'm getting is hardly this 10% of my actual salary, right? So there's a purpose why I'm doing it. The purpose is I want to also grow. I also like teaching. If I able to teach you guys, I'll be able to teach the people who are in my company also, right? But the given the condition is you should also be interested, right? And you at least the company, at least the people who are in the company, if they are not motivated, that is one thing because they are also getting their salary. But you should be motivated because you want to get into a company, right? I should not be the one who should tell you that you have given and paid for the course, so you should listen to me. You should be listening to your instructors, right? And the thing is, you should have to put a lot of effort because in your resume wise, right? Because HRs will only have the resume of yours. They will not meet you in person. They will look at the resume. Resume wise, everyone is an SQL expert, right? In your age only, right? With only like 0 years of experience, everyone is an SQL expert. So when we see the resume, it's like very hard to like figure it out who to select in the resume selection, right? So people who do not have any idea about your SQL will get interview calls. So that is the case right now, which is happening in India, right? So if you don't understand the advanced part, it's very difficult to clear any interviews also. Okay. Anyways, this is something which should not be told, but anyways, you guys be practicing more and more. There will be theory part only for the first 5 minutes. After that, they will just tell you to share your screen. And once they start asking questions, you will have to write these things, right? Not the DDL part, mostly the detail part only you will be writing, but you should be very comfortable in that. If you take like 5-10 minutes in answering small questions, then interview will not be clear there. Okay. What is next? Alter. Let's start with the alter part also. You see, what is happening now here is if I want to create one more new column, I will have to drop the table again, right? So right now, there is no data in the table. There is no rows, right? What if there are millions of rows in those first two columns? And now I want to create a new column. If I drop the table, the data will also be dropped. And now if I create the third column, three columns will be there, but with the zero data, right? So dropping table is not a good idea if you have a table, if you have a data in it, and if you want to create a new column. The creation of the new column happens with your alter keyword, which is this. Create is to create new thing. Drop is to remove anything. Alter is to modify the existing table. Okay. So you can modify it. Let's see how you will modify. There are 5 things which you can do it with your alter. First, you can add columns. Second, you can remove columns. Third, you can change, or I'll say rename column. Fourth, you can rename table itself. Fifth, you can modify data type. First four are very straightforward, so we'll start learning them. Add columns. If you already have a table, so I have a table, sample table, which has two columns, ID and employee name. I now want to add, let's say, salary column or address column or something like this, right? So I'll use the keyword which is alter. Just like your create and drop, create table, table name, drop table, table name. Alter is also like that. Alter table, table name. So alter your table, table name is sample table. You can keep on writing it in one line, but generally people write it in next line. The thing which you want to do, which is alter table, sample table, and I want to add something, right? So add. Now, if you want to add a new column, the process remains same. You will have to write two things, column name and your data type, right? Which is, let's say, salary. Salary should be integer, right? It can be double also, if I mean, depending on scenarios, but let's say integer. And that's it. If you run this, and now if you select star from sample table also, it's added, but it will not show you the table, right? So select star from sample table. Now you have salary column also added. The difference between the previous one and this is it has added a new column without removing any of the other columns or without removing the table. Okay. Next is how will you add multiple columns? If you run this again, what do you think will happen? It will run into an error because the column already exists, right? If I run it, duplicate column name salary is your error, right? I cannot run it again, but let's say I want to create two more columns now. One is address, and so address will be again like kind of a text, right? And if I want to add one more thing, I'll just write add keyword again. And again, I'll write one more column. So whatever, address to. Right? Or whatever department also you can write. Whatever you want to write. If I run this, it has ran fine. If I run this, ID, EMP name, salary, address and department were the two new columns which were added. Right now, there are small differences between your MySQL and MS SQL. In your MS SQL, you don't have to write this add keyword again. Right? But who will remember this? Right? So there's no need to remember it. I remember it because I use my MS SQL in my company. So this add one, we don't write it. If I use alter once more, it will throw error, right? If I use this again, it will say address and department already exist. Right? Yes, salary is also available. Let's say you write bonus, right? Bonus, and that will be integer. That is fine. And run it again. And run select star from sample table, bonus column is also added. In here, you want to write one more? Add. After comma, you want to write alter again. No, that is not available. So alter table, sample table is the main sentence here. And then you tell what you want to do after that. So add. Right. You can write again in the next statement alter table. That is fine. This you can write. Alter table, sample table, add what we write now. Let's say last name, text, net. Oops, sorry. Sample table, add. What is the error? I wrote, okay, I ran it incorrectly, but now I have it. So I have last name also. Okay, you can write alter multiple times. Yes. You just have to care that this column is not already there. Okay. Now that we have added so many columns in here, which is of no use, let's see how to remove them also, right? One by one or multiple. What do you think we should be writing? Now let's see if you guys can guess. Alter, okay. Then alter table, table name. Then what do you think the keyword will be? So to add, we have add keyword. To remove anything from the SQL, what is the keyword which we have been using? To remove database or to remove the table, what is the keyword which we have used?
Drop.
Drop, right? So in here also, drop. What is the column which you want to drop? Right? That is the name only, that column name. So let's say I want to drop address. And that's it. If I run it once, it is fine. If I run it twice, it will be an error. I can again say select star from sample table. And now my address column is not anymore. I can remove multiple things also. So let's say salary, comma, drop again, department, comma, drop again, bonus, comma, drop again, last name. right? You don't have to follow me. I mean, it's fine that you have more columns than mine. If I run this and if I run slip star from sample table, I have removed all the other columns. So ID and EMP name I started with, I created many columns. I now removed all those columns. Right? But this is something which you have to write. You are getting it? Right. Now, if you run it, no, not directly, right? If you run directly, everything will run. Right. Now you see start on sample table. Now run it. Right. Every time. If you want to add more things, let's say you want to, no, not every time. Again, you can write comma and add, and then again write, right? But if you have added address, then you cannot run that part, right? You have to remove this and then run it. Now, let's say you add EMP name, right? And that is also text. So this one also will run fine. And then you will this start from sample table, and then you have EMP name and salary both. What was your question? It will not come back, right? You dropped it once. Once drop if you use, it will remove permanently. You have to create it again if you want to get it back. Right? How would you create it? Using your alter again. Alter and then add. Why this is an error? You're saying so alter is starting from here to here and ending here. It's semicolon. Now this is not a valid statement. So drop, either you can drop table, you can drop database. If you drop a column, then you will use alter before that, right? Right. Or you can write in here drop again. And then drop address. Right. If you write semicolon, that means the alter has completed. Done, you guys? Done. Okay, we'll do two more things, which is rename column and rename table. Let's say this ID also, I want to rename it to EMP ID, right? Rename is very easy again, almost same, alter, table, sample table, and now rename. And the thing which you want to rename is column. So rename column ID to EMP ID. Right? So rename column is the fixed word. Instead of add or drop, you are writing rename column. And now you're saying from ID, I want to change it to EMP ID. Okay. If I run it and say select star from sample table again, now I have EMP ID and EMP name. Okay. Questions in here, just rename column, which column you want to rename and to which column you want to rename. Right? ID to EMP ID. Let's say now, instead of renaming the column, I now want to rename the table. Alter table, sample table. Renaming table is even easier. You just have to write rename to, let's say, EMP table. This is a way to rename the table, which is from sample table, I want to rename it to EMP table, employee table, right? Okay, let's say if I run it. Now, do you think if I say select star from sample table, will it run? No, right? Because the table name is not sample table anymore. If I run it, it will be an error. That sample table does not exist. It says sample table in here, but if I refresh it, it's an EMP table now. Instead of sample table, I'll be writing EMP table now. And now you have the EMP table, which is giving you EMP ID and EMP name. Okay, just go home, try writing, create databases, create tables, rename them, alter them, all these things. Fifth one, modify data type. Let's focus this on the next class which we have, right? Right now, I don't think we have that much time to cover this.